Okay, so you've brought us some source material today that's, oh, it's deeply disturbing, frankly. A really brutal crime.
It is. It's harrowing stuff. But there's also this thread running through it, an incredible story of bravery.
Exactly. And that's what we want to do in this deep dive. Pull out the core understanding from these accounts, grasp the essentials and the significance without getting completely lost in the darkness of it all.
Precisely. We're looking at the home invasion and murder of Joe Morrissey in Plantation, Florida. This happened back on April 5th, 2010.
And right away, the sources throw you into this terrifying situation for his wife, Kay Morrissey. Chaos, confusion.
And these accounts we're drawing from, they're firsthand, from the investigation, the aftermath. It's quite detailed.
But the element that just jumps out, the really astonishing part, involves their son.
5-year-old Patrick Morrissey.
He was there. He saw things no child should ever see. And somehow, this little boy, who you'd think was completely helpless, he ends up being crucial.
He really does.
Yeah.
He becomes this key to unlocking what actually happened. It's quite something.
And it's not straightforward, is it? Initially, they're looking at one person, Randy Tendador Jr.
Right. But then it twists. His father, Randy Tendador Sr., gets pulled into the frame. And suddenly it's much more complex, much darker.
So that's our mission for this deep dive, then. We need to piece together that night, figure out who did what, and really focus on Patrick's unbelievable role.
And also unpack the incredibly messed up family dynamics that seem to underpin the whole tragedy.
Okay, let's start at the beginning. The night itself. What do the sources say about how it started?
It sounds like a totally normal evening. Joe Morrissey had apparently dozed off watching TV. Kay was doing some work in her craft room. And little Patrick was asleep in the master bedroom. Just ordinary life.
Until it wasn't. Patrick wakes up. Why?
To his parents screaming, "Imagine." Just horrific sounds.
And somehow this 5-year-old has the instinct to pretend he's still asleep.
Incredible, isn't it? He lies there, pretending, but he's seeing everything. He later described, little tying things being used on his parents.
Zip ties?
Zip ties. And he saw a gun. Hearing that described in a child's simple terms, it's chilling.
It really brings home the impact on him, the vulnerability.
Definitely. And then later that night, Kay's daughter Christina gets a call. Something's wrong.
She heads over?
Yeah, rushes over. Arrives at flashing lights, police everywhere. Finds her mom outside, covered in blood, injured, and learns Joe is dead.
Just devastating. The shock must have been overwhelming.
Completely. And Kay, understandably, is in shock when the police first talk to her.
Which leaves Patrick, the only other witness inside the house.
Exactly. Suddenly, this little boy is the only other person who saw what happened. A huge weight for investigators to handle carefully.
And when they do talk to him, how does he describe it? Does he understand?
He talks about, he says, robbers in our house when my dad died. He understands something happened, but the permanence of death.
Yeah.
Probably not fully, not at 5.
It's just heartbreaking. So the initial investigation focuses on Randy Tendador Jr., right?
Yes. His father, Randy Sr., was sick, apparently quite ill. So he was quickly ruled out as being physically capable of doing this himself.
And Randy Jr., why him?
He was already on parole, so I think a parole violation brought him onto their radar.
Okay.
During questioning, he denies everything. But the police noted he seemed very interested in what they knew. Fishing for information, maybe?
But no hard evidence tying him there.
Not initially. Felt like a bit of a dead end. Plus, Kay mentioned something else.
The second person.
Yeah, she heard someone using a two-way radio that didn't quite fit with Randy Jr. acting alone. And what was the motive, anyway? It wasn't clear.
So a missing piece. A big one.
Huge. Until the case takes this completely unexpected turn.
This is where the other son comes in.
Randy Sr.'s other son, Sean. He calls the police.
With what?
Just bombshell information. He tells them his father, Randy Sr., committed the murder.
Wow. What makes him do that? Against his own father?
It's incredibly disturbing. He tells the police about a conversation he had with his dad. His father actually threatened him.
Yeah.
Said something like,
What?
"You need to shut up, because I'll kill you if I have to."
Jesus. Threatening his own son.
Can you imagine hearing that?
Mm-hmm.
The fear Sean must have felt, but also maybe the need to stop him?
So his motivation was justice, getting the truth out.
It seems so. He wanted his father to pay. He also mentioned their past, saying, "My father used to beat us bad." So there's this history of abuse looming over everything.
A really dark family history. What about Randy Jr.'s reaction when he finds out the police are looking at his dad?
Interestingly, even when the heat was on him, Randy Jr. apparently insisted his father was a good man.
Yeah.
It speaks to the manipulation, maybe? The twisted loyalty within that
And
family.
just layers upon layers of dysfunction. And Sean doesn't just talk, he offers to help.
He does, offers to prove it. He agrees to wear a wire.
That takes guts, confronting his father like that.
Absolutely. He goes in, wired up, tries to get Randy Sr. to admit what he did. A hugely tense situation.
Does it work?
Well, initially there's a setback. The first recording they get is indistinct, muffled. They can't make it out. Huge frustration for the detectives, I imagine.
Oh no, after all that risk Sean took.
But then, somehow, they managed to recover the actual clear audio. And it changes everything.
What did it reveal?
The absolute truth. It confirmed Randy Sr. wasn't just involved, he was the mastermind. He'd manipulated Randy Jr. into doing the break-in.
How? What was the leverage?
According to the sources, Randy Sr. was supplying Randy Jr. with crack cocaine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Giving him drugs, then directing him to go rob the Morrisseys, using his own son's addiction against him. It's profoundly disturbing.
Exploiting his own child like that, just evil.
It paints a truly grim picture, and then the physical evidence starts piling up too.
At Randy Sr.'s business, Gatorton.
Exactly. The police search it. They find the Morrisseys' stolen computer. They find zip ties matching the ones used, an empty knife box. Remember, Patrick saw a knife too.
And the radio.
The two-way radios Kay mentioned, they found those. And even foreign currency taken from the house.
So concrete links.
Very concrete.
Correct.
Plus, there were burnt marks outside in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Looks like someone tried to destroy evidence by burning it.
It's all pointing squarely at Randy Sr. now.
Overwhelmingly, which led to arrests. Both Randy Tendador Sr. and Randy Jr. were arrested.
Okay, so the case against them is building, but let's go back to Patrick. We can't forget his role in all this, his bravery.
Absolutely crucial. Think about it again. Woken by screams, seeing his parents tied up, threatened, pure terror.
And his father, Joe. His last words to him.
Pretend. Just pretend. Joe, facing death, his only thought is protecting his son, telling him to fake being asleep.
That act of love in that moment, it's incredible. It probably saved Patrick's life.
Very likely. And Patrick did it. He kept pretending. Heard his dad being taken away. Then silence. And the fire started.
Fire, right. That adds another layer of horror.
And smoke filling the room. But even then, Patrick doesn't just freeze.
What does he do?
He finds scissors. And in the smoke, scared, he manages to cut the ties on his mother. He unties Kay.
A 5-year-old did that.
Kay herself calls him her hero. He saved her life. He found the strength somehow. It's just astonishing resilience.
He couldn't testify in court, though. Too young.
Right, too young for the stand. But they showed the jury the video of his police interview. So they heard it from him in his own words. Saw what he went through.
That must have been incredibly powerful evidence.
Undeniably. And then another twist in the courtroom.
Randy Jr.
Randy Jr. He confesses and then testifies against his own father.
Why? What did he say?
He talked about how a father is supposed to protect his children, the implication being his father did the exact opposite, betrayed him.
That contrast is so stark, isn't it? Randy Sr. betraying his son, using him, while Joe Morrissey's last act is protecting his son.
It really highlights the difference, the ultimate betrayal versus the ultimate act of love.
And the verdicts.
Randy Jr. pleaded guilty, essentially, and got 40 years. Randy Sr. went to trial, was found guilty on all the major charges, murder, kidnapping, everything.
Sentence.
Death sentence. The sources even mentioned the sound of the bailiff's handcuffs clicking shut, a real sense of finality.
So looking at the aftermath, Sean, he did the right thing, but at immense personal cost.
He lost his brother to prison, his father to death row. But the detective involved said Sean's recording was absolutely vital. He broke that cycle of abuse in a way. A terrible price, though.
And Kay and Patrick, how do they move forward?
The sources speak about their incredible strength, their resilience. They're determined to honor Joe's memory.
Kay's words about Patrick being her hero.
For saving me and helping me save his life. It's such a powerful statement of their bond forged in that horror.
They really are proof that life can somehow go on after unimaginable tragedy, supporting each other. Living proof.
So wrapping up this deep dive, the takeaways are pretty clear and pretty heavy. The sheer brutality of the crime, definitely. And the shock of that betrayal coming from within a family. A father orchestrating it all.
But rising above all that darkness is the image of Patrick. That 5-year-old boy's courage. It's unforgettable.
Absolutely. Acting with such bravery when faced with pure terror.
It really makes you think, doesn't it, about different kinds of strength. You have Randy Sr.'s violent dominance, this awful power.
Then you have Joe's desperate love, that protective instinct in his final moments.
And Sean's moral strength, turning against his own abusive father, that took a different kind of courage.
And finally, Patrick's quiet resilience. That strength the child finds in the absolute worst circumstances.
Which one stands out the most? It's hard to say. What does it tell us about people under extreme pressure?
Yeah.
It's a lot to reflect on. Maybe worth looking more into drama or child witnesses or just these tangled, destructive family dynamics.
Yeah, a lot to think about long after we stop talking about the case itself.